Jessica Sieg, a learning designer from Curtin University, discusses how UDL makes content accessible. How did you approach your course design using UDL?
When designing materials for Universal Design, we have access to Blackboard's accessibility tool Ally, and that's a very good tool as it helps us as instructors develop accessible content, but it also provides alternative versions to students, increasing their access to the content. I also have a lot of skills and knowledge with HTML, basic HTML code, but that gives me the flexibility to format code as it needs to be to meet accessibility requirements when delivering that online. I also, before Blackboard Ally, I used wizards in Office, the accessibility wizards, to create those accessible artifacts that would then be delivered online. Lastly, being aware of browser capabilities and the features that you can actually utilise. For example, an e-reader exists in a lot of browsers, and you can just use that to listen to your content and see how it reads and improve the accessibility of it, which of course improves the universal design.
What have been the most significant challenges and how did you address them?
Some of the challenges I've experienced in developing a universally designed material basically comes down to time and resources and the invariable lack of both. To help overcome these, it's critical to identify the resources most in need of accessible enhancements and do those or address those first, and sort of schedule in the others for the next time that the unit or the course runs, or the next time there might be some time available, so that you don't feel overwhelmed with trying to do everything at once. You pick the critical parts first and then you move on down the line, and that way you can get to address everything eventually.
What advice would you give others who are thinking about redesigning their course using a UDL approach?
And thinking about redeveloping existing materials to be universally designed, the first thing I would do is do a resource audit and actually look at all of the content that you have that is existing and identify the critical elements that can be kept and redeveloped, and try and eliminate the rest. You really want any content that you are delivering to be aligned to the unit and to be key to the learning. The second thing I would do is then go through that content and identify the critical elements that need to be improved to meet accessibility requirements. Lastly, and most importantly, you need to have time. You need to have time to upskill, to learn how to do these things. You need time to apply these things. And once you go through that process, you will find that evaluating and upskilling and applying those accessibility, that knowledge to your content will improve over time, and it will take you less time to do it in the future. So applying the time now leads to less time in the future.
What difference has it made for you as an educator?
As an educator, I actually educate staff on how to create accessible content. So it's really key for me to provide accessible content and well-designed content, and that's what UDL does for me. And in doing that, I help to demonstrate the benefits of using a UDL design process for staff, and creating that clear connection between the how and the why they would do something. They can clearly see why it works. That helps to develop that understanding of why they should do it, seeing it in action, and it just creates a benefit and that linkage all round.
What impact has it had on your learners?
The impact of UDL on learners, I think, is clear. It helps to create improved learning environments where the how, what and why of what the students are learning or how they're expected to learn it is much clearer. Providing alternative versions helps the students engage with the materials in a way that suits them while still consuming that content. UDL breaks down barriers to access for students, which gives them more autonomy to engage with your resources in a meaningful way that suits them.
This video was produced for the Universal Design for Learning in Tertiary Education e-learning resource. For more information, visit www.disabilityawareness.com.au.